everybody, welcome to my homeschool shed. Please excuse the mess as I'm still in back to school mode, organizing everything, finding home for all of our textbooks and curriculum. I took my planter out, I'm watering it, so we are definitely still in the back to school season and the beginning of it. But I wanted to just get this video out to you guys. One of the questions that I've been asked, and obviously since the school year has already started, is what curriculum are we using for the 2020-2021 school year. So just as a quick point of reference, I have a 6-year-old who is starting first grade this year, and I have a 4-year-old who is starting TK this year. And we are so excited to get started. And just also as a point of reference, I want to show you guys or tell you a list of the subjects that we are covering this year. So the first one is language arts, and language arts is one of those chunky programs for me, as I wanted to create a really well-rounded language arts program for my children. And so I'll share with you all of what I'm encompassing in that as textbooks that we are kind of using throughout the year. So I'll share that with you. We are also doing subjects like math, history, science, as well as PE. We'll be doing PE every day for our academic school year. And we are also doing extracurricular subjects such as Bible studies. We're doing art. We are hoping to start music pretty soon. We'll be signing up with a vendor. Vendors is another thing that we do. Hopefully we're able to pick up an instrument or music class pretty soon. Also, martial arts will be part of our PE program that we'll be doing. And let's see, I covered Bible, art, and foreign language. We're teaching Spanish and American Sign Language to our daughters. Those are the ones that my husband and I both used, and so we want to make sure that we expose our kids to those languages so that they definitely become multilingual in their speaking. And it also it's just important for us to be able to share our cultures and things that we love with our students and our daughters. I call them my students, but they're our daughters. I guess they're both, right? To be able to expose them to as much information and skill that we have as parents that we can bestow upon our kiddos. So I'm going to lay down all of our curriculum and subjects on the ground. I'm going to go over all of our first graders stuff, the core curriculum that she uses, and then we'll do my TK, and I'm also going to wrap it up with family subjects and share with you what we do for those subjects of textbooks to be able to cover one time teaching it, but both of them get to participate in those same subjects. So let's start off with my first graders curriculum. Just really quickly, I wanted to share with you, these are the Happy Planner keepsake organizers for kids. I have loved this. We've been using it as our binders. I put a little picture of our daughters right on the corner. It looks kind of like a stamp with some crazy scissors. But in the front of the binder, we put a few of their morning basket things to just kind of get their brains warmed up in the morning, have them do a few worksheets, and this is part of our morning binder. Within the binder itself, it has dividers, and we keep all of our work samples divided into each different subject. So we're going to start off with my first grader. So for math, for first grade, we are going with Saxon Math 1. She started this last year, and so we'll be finishing it up. She has about half of the book still left this year, and if we're able to finish it a lot sooner than before the academic school year is over, we'll be moving on to Saxon Math 2. Saxon Math is such a wonderful program. It is a spiral approach. The lessons build upon one another. So, and there is tons and tons of review. I like also that it comes with, you can order math manipulatives. So I have all of our math manipulatives in this basket, but I like that it's not so dry and only black and white worksheets. It also comes with the understanding that your kids are young and they need, you know, some visuals to go alongside. So I can do detailed reviews of each one of these programs later so that I can show you everything that comes within the program. But since this is just sharing with you the curriculum, this is our Saxon Math. They also come with workbooks. This is the binder that we used last year, all the worksheets that she completed. But we're not going with this binder. Obviously, we're changing it up to this. But these are the pads that it comes with as far as the student activities. They come with corresponding student packets. And there's actually 2 of those student workbooks for each level. So that's level 1 for math. This is our language arts program that is really customized to both of my students. And I say that they have different language arts program because they are definitely in different levels. So for my first grader, we are trying out all about spelling this year. This is the teacher's manual, and it comes with the spelling review box with spelling cards. So we'll be doing all about spelling. We're doing all about reading. We are finishing off level 1. We started this last year, and we have about 5 lessons that are left in our all about reading. So we're gonna finish that up, and as soon as we're done, we're going with level 2. This is predominantly the level that she'll be working on for first grade. It comes with a student workbook, the actual cards, and then the teacher's manual. So this is predominantly the reading and phonics program that we'll be going with for my first grader. Then we're also going to continue with Handwriting Without Tears as our penmanship program for the year. It is a really, really good program that I love. When my daughters were doing this actively the first semester of last year, their handwriting was looking very, very nice. I do have other manipulatives that come with the handwriting program. Predominantly, they use this little chalkboard, and they use a chalk, a sponge, and a paper towel to practice their letters on. And really, this program allowed their printing to look really nicely. I didn't use it for the last half of the semester, and that's a huge story in and of itself, but make sure that you continue if you're using Handwriting Without Tears, especially for the younger grades, that you are using the penmanship workbooks as opposed to the writing. So what happened last year was that I was using the penmanship one at the beginning, the first semester, and then the second one I didn't know that I could continue on with this book, and I ended up getting the writing one. But my daughter wasn't super skilled with you know, doing each one of these letters just yet, and so really, I feel like the writing notebook was it wasn't grade appropriate for kindergarten. So all that to say, make sure that if you are using Handwriting Without Tears for penmanship specifically, grab the workbooks that are meant to formulate the different shapes of the letters and the numbers. So we'll be continuing with this and hoping that her handwriting gets better and she gets more practice on each one of the letters. Then for grammar, we're using First Language Lessons for the Well-Trained Mind. This is from the Well-Trained Mind company by Jessie Wise. I've shared with you all that I love the Well-Trained Mind book, and that's really the manual that I use to give me an outline of what we're going to be using for the years, and it was the book that really held my hand at the beginning of how to homeschool and getting all the resources and information for that. So this book teaches grammar specifically, and this was the lesson that we went over today. They're very, very simple, and so I'll share with you guys how I like these books. I'll definitely have to do a review on each one, or maybe not wait obviously to the end of the year, but to share with you in maybe a month or so how we are liking these books. Now, this is going to be our writing program. Again, this is also from the Well-Trained Mind. I've heard nothing but great things about this book. This is specifically to learn to write, narrate, copy work, different things like that. Usually people do these two companioned put together. Writing with Ease is one of those programs that I really wanted to use, or the curriculum that I really wanted to incorporate into my language arts program, because it goes into detail about different writing processes. But what I really liked about it was that it reads excerpts from classical literature, and it allows your student to really engage into the components of writing. So I was super, super excited about this. So again, for my first grader, we are doing Saxon math. We are doing all about spelling and all about reading, predominantly level 2 for first grade. And then for penmanship, we're doing handwriting without tears. This is my printing book. And actually, if you go to rainbowresources.com, you can put in handwriting without tears in the search engine, put in first grade, and it'll show you what's available. Make sure to get the printing one if you are looking for specific penmanship curriculum. First language lessons is the grammar, and writing with ease is our writing program. So together, I think that this makes a very well-rounded language arts program with the addition of math. And let me show you what we have going on for my TK. So moving right along to my TK student, she also has a morning binder that has a few morning worksheets just to get them started academically in the morning. It comes with dividers in her binder, and we separate all of her subjects in here. For language arts, we are using Explode the Code for phonics. She is in a really unique situation as she's in TK, because she is definitely learning her letters, but she is ready to read and has been reading a lot of consonant, vowel, consonant words. So Explode the Code was one of those books that I think as I did research, it seemed like it was a book that she was ready to explore. We didn't end up going with the pre-books from Explode the Code, which I think are called Get Ready for the Code, as our teacher of record in our charter school recommended that we just start with book number 1. So we are doing Explode the Code for my TK student. For handwriting, we're going again with the same thing, handwriting without tears. This is the Kickstart to Kindergarten program. We did this again with her last year, and it worked really nicely, especially because it comes with manipulatives such as that chalkboard that I showed you, as well as some worksheets, Matman. And so if you're familiar with that curriculum, you're familiar that it does come with a few manipulatives. It also came, this specific one didn't, but last year the one that I purchased for her did come with I Know My Numbers in the set. You can purchase it separately. These are some of the ones that she worked on last year, but she hasn't finished them all. So she'll be working on these, and they're basically little tiny booklets that your student can color in and write and practice writing their numbers over and over again with that penmanship. So she'll be finishing this set this year. For our phonics program, we are doing all about reading. This is the pre-reader specifically. It comes with an activity book that has been really nice. This is something that we started last year again that she hasn't finished. So she finished, I think, the first 30 lessons or so. And how many lessons does it come with? Here, I'll share with you. Last year we did 1 per week, and that was as much as she could handle. This year we're going to be doing 2 a week. It comes with 78 lessons, and she finished off right here on 34. So this is going to provide us with enough curriculum for the year, as we do about 2 a week or so. And so actually I think we're dividing it into 5 for every month. So she'll be doing 2 for 1 week, and then every other week she'll be doing 1. So this is the phonics program that we're going with. It comes with 2 poems. It also comes with a puppet that they really love. So this is predominantly the language arts program that we're going with. Explode the Code, Handwriting Without Tears, and the pre-reader for All About Reading. This has been so good for us. I really love this. It also comes with a few cards that they play games with. Such a good curriculum. One of the other things that I would mention that we're adding to my TK's language arts program, but I'm going to include it in the family subjects because my older daughter, my first grader, is really loving this and participating in it, is 5 in a row. I would highly recommend, if you have really young kiddos, this, I'm all about reading to your kids, reading aloud, and the importance of that. And you can do so much research on the importance of getting literature to your kiddos and spending time sitting down with them, reading to them. And this program allows you to read one book for 5 days in a row, just like the title says, covering different subjects. So it goes over social studies, it goes over literature, art, math, so many different subjects, science that you can pick from to teach about in the 5 days that you are going to be reading the same book, and the kids love it. So this was our language arts program for my TK student. And for math, we are going with Saxon Math. We are using level K for her. And predominantly, this does not come with a student notebook. This predominantly uses manipulatives, and it's very hands-on, which it should be for anyone who is her age. Anyhow, so this is our TK curriculum that we are using. Let me go ahead and show you our family subjects. Right, so let's go over the family subjects. The first one I'm going to start off with is art. This is by the Home Art Studio. It is actually a DVD series, and there are several levels. I think it only I'm not sure actually, but I think there are different elementary school grades available. The nice thing about this DVD is that it has arts and crafts that are taught by this teacher, and the teacher does go over art curriculum and information that should be covered appropriately in each grade level, such as this one has different materials, composition. She talks about mixing colors, primary colors, secondary colors, and all that information. If you wanted to go a very simple route and incorporate art into your schooling, you could really just get onto Pinterest, but I like that the Home Art Studio incorporates information that could be covered in these age ranges to expose them to different art components. So that's really nice. For history, we're going with the story of the world. I'm so excited to start this curriculum. The textbook approaches history in a story format, and I think that that is so engaging for students, especially in this age range. This is the first level, volume 1, Ancient Times. This one starts from, let's see if this will focus, from the earliest nomads, there we go, to The Last Roman Emperor by Susan Wise Bauer, also from The Well-Trained Mind. It comes with a teacher-student workbook. I unbound the actual workbook, and I ended up binding the teacher information by itself just so that I would have it as a teacher manual. You can purchase the student pages. This is the one that I unbound, but you can purchase the actual just student pages alone, and it also, if you want, it comes with a pack for quizzes. So if you're someone who wants to test or needs to test, there is a quiz and testing workbook that you can purchase along with the curriculum. There are some encyclopedias that you can also use to coincide with the history to dig deeper into the different subjects. So that just goes along with that. This is the one that I was talking about, the 5 in a row. Honestly, this is more of like a unit study, and if you have someone as young as preschool or TK, you can use one of these to do all of your subjects. Let me show you what I mean here. This week we are doing lentil, but the premise of this book is really to do one book every single day. You read it, but you cover different lessons. So last week we did the story about peeing, and we talked about discernment. We did a lot of social studies activities. We learned about China. We watched a documentary on China. We talked about the culture in China. One of the activities that we did is I had my daughters learn how to make rice, and we sat down on our coffee table to talk about Chinese culture and how they can do different customs than we do. We talked about literature and how those are classic stories. We also drew a picture about peeing. We did geography, and the girls had to locate the Yangtze River on the globe. We also did a science project and spoke about buoyancy. So when the girls were swimming, we talked about things that would float and would sink. So they did an experiment about that. So really, there are so many subjects within 5 in a row that you can make a really, really fun education educational program for your younger kids. And the reason why we do this family, and I didn't only incorporate it into my TK, is that honestly, my older daughter loves these stories. And surprisingly, I thought that they weren't gonna like for me to read the book over and over throughout the week, but they love it because they start to memorize it and then they start to expect it. They get really excited. Love this thing. For science, we are doing elemental science. This is recommended by the Well-Trained Mind, but it is written by Paige Hudson. I went through the teacher guide this weekend and I was incredibly impressed at what the potential of this program is going to give us for the year. So this one specifically on biology, it'll be going over animals, plants, and the human body. This one comes with the student workbook. I also purchased the lab booking templates as well as coloring pages. Since I do have my TK student, I'll have them do activities according to what their preferences are as well as their age range. So for example, my older daughter might be writing sentences, whereas my younger daughter might be doing a coloring page. So, but I did purchase both for them just in case one wants to do, a lap booking page, the other wants to do colors, whatever that might be. So I purchased that for them. Along with the program, you can purchase encyclopedias that specifically are written in the teacher workbook to tell you which ones go along with the program. So I did my first encyclopedia of animals, and she also tells you which encyclopedias are going to be best for your age range of children. This is Janice Van Cleve's Science Around the World activity book. There is also this activity book that are going to be filled with the experiments that we'll be doing for the science program. This is another kind of biology book that goes along with the elemental science, and another encyclopedia for the human body. As far as for spiritual health and Bible, I was reading a lot about our 24 Family Ways devotional guide. I wanted to give it a try. It looked nice. I had coloring pages, so I did want to check this out. It looked good in that you actually get a scripture that you can read to them, and you're reading straight out of the Bible and opening up discussion questions. So this is something that I want to try this year. I don't know how I'll feel about it as yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, but our 24 Family Ways is what we'll be picking up this year for Bible. And we won't be doing everything, honestly, because this is a 5-day program. It's actually written as a curriculum. We won't be doing this every single day, but I will definitely be doing in sequential order whenever we are able to do that. Other than that, I read Bible stories to them from other children's Bible books. One of our favorites has been the one that I talk about on my Instagram all the time. I don't know where it is and I can't grab it. Oh, it's actually right there. It's called God Always Keeps His Promises by Max Lucado. That's one that we really like, and that's it. So, and then also for the morning basket that I'm kind of putting these together and talking about character development is the Children's Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett. This is another highly recommended book that people really love, that has stories and poems that you are able to expose your kids to character development. A lot of just different topics. So this week we talked about being courageous and persevering when something gets difficult. So we'll be using these. Again, I can share with you guys a review of how we end up loving or not liking some of these books, but for now, that's it. You guys, really quickly before I forget, this is the American Sign Language book that I'm going to go with this year. This is just really as a point of reference for me. It's actually the book that I use used in college to learn American Sign Language through. I took basically every course that they offered, but I remember that this one was pretty good, and I love that it offers me a format on how to teach what at what time in what sequential order. The other resource that I use for American Sign Language is Rachel and the Tree Schoolers on YouTube. She has great videos. She is the woman who did Signing Time, so if you're familiar with that. She also does a more recent one called Rachel and the Tree Schoolers. Love that. If you are someone who feels like you don't have enough time to be able to teach that, you can pop on those videos, and especially for those younger ages, they will learn so much from that. For Spanish, I'm a Spanish speaker, and so I just incorporate into the curriculums that we're learning, but I just have a few flashcards. This is Spanish basic words that I got at Target Dollar Spot, and this is, I don't remember where I picked this up from. Let's see if it'll focus. It's just Spanish matching cards from, let's see here. It doesn't tell me. Oh, from this website here. Let's see. There we go. whistlefritz.com. So we haven't necessarily used these just yet, but the other curriculum that I'm looking into for doing like a formal Spanish curriculum is Calico Spanish as a website subscription, which is a little bit more affordable, and also Spanish Academy, which is a one-on-one tutoring Spanish class. So you might want to take a look at those if you are looking into teaching Spanish or ASL. And that's what we're going to be covering for the 2020-2021 school year. Now, it might feel extensive, and for the most part, we are focusing solely on core subjects. The extra stuff comes after, and we don't do them all in the same day. They are separated into the week as they are. It's just a lot. It's a lot to cover, and you should never expect younger students, like the kids that I have from my age, range from like 4 to 6, and even preschool, honestly probably any elementary school students, to sit still and just do textbook work. So we always try as best we can to bring these subjects alive. If we don't have to sit down and do the workbooks physically, we do it a different way, such as the math, right? There is a math page that she has to do all of the zeros. If she doesn't want to write, and we've already done a writing curriculum for that day, I'll just grab the flashcards, because really it's just her knowing her zeros facts or ones facts or things like that. So we find other ways to incorporate a more manipulative, hands-on activity that they could do, as opposed to just doing that sit-down work, that textbook work, the worksheet itself. And so I'll just go over what needs to be covered in that lesson, and I'll try to find a creative way. If not, some of the programs already incorporate really fun games that you can do as opposed to that lesson to still get the same point across. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please message them over to me on Instagram, or you can write them in the comments here. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.